The 76ers had a really disappointing 2020 NBA season. They were seen as premier contenders heading into the year, but they did not fulfill those expectations as they finished 6th place in the Eastern Conference and would proceed to get swept by the Boston Celtics. And it did not look like there's much hope for this team, as Al Horford and Tobias Harris had massive contracts after disappointing regular seasons and very bad playoff runs by them. Well, it looked like those contracts were unmovable, as it looked like no one wanted those contracts, and can you really blame them? However, the 76ers management would end up hiring, the 76ers would end up hiring Daryl Morey, the former GM of the Houston Rockets, and this would give Philadelphia some hope, as Daryl Morey bring winning basketball to the Houston Rockets, for quite a while, and the guy was known as a pretty good GM. So when he became president of basketball operations, people were expecting Daryl Morey, being the aggressive, GM he is, to make some pretty big moves. And while he hasn't made any crazy big move, he has made some pretty good moves that I think could make the Philadelphia 76ers bounce back in the 2021 NBA season. And that's what I'm going to explain in today's video. Why Philadelphia can have a bounce back season in this upcoming NBA season. But with all that being said, if you guys enjoyed today's video, please make sure to like the video, as it really helps out the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and you're a fan of the NFL or the NBA. I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and it would be greatly appreciated if we could reach that goal. When I do reach 1,000 subscribers, I'll react to my first 2 videos I ever made, and if you guys want to see me do that, please make sure to subscribe if you guys haven't already, as I post NBA and NFL content on here, and there's videos like this already on the channel, and there will be more in the future. But with all that being said, let's just get this thing started. Now, I've gone over the story a few times already on this channel, and I'm sure we all know, so I'll try to keep this one short. As we know, the 76ers signed Al Horford and Tobias Harris in the 2019 offseason, both to pretty big contracts. And with the talent and sheer size of this team, as they had the shortest player on this team was 6'6", people expected them to be premier contenders. But we all know that didn't end up being the case. Now, initially, I thought this roster was pretty much stuck together, because I didn't think anyone was going to take on Al Horford or Tobias Harris's contracts. However, when Daryl Morey stepped in, we all know he was going to make some moves. Daryl Morey is a very aggressive GM. He really proved that. And the guy is all about three-point shooting, which is something they really needed desperately. And he made a good move right off the bat, as he had traded Al Horford to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he'd acquired Danny Green, who, although he played poorly in the NBA bubble, he still is known as a good three-point shooter, and he's also a good defender. He's not, the three-point shooting part hasn't exactly been the case with most fans, but normally he's known as a good three-point shooter. Anyways, getting off Al Horford's contract was a massive win. Al Horford was a terrible fit on the Philadelphia 76ers. The guy was really slow, so because of that, he couldn't play power forward in the modern NBA, given how fast modern day power forwards are. And because Joel Embiid was the starting center, you couldn't exactly have Al Horford start. Not only that, but Al Horford did not have a good jump shot for power forward, so that didn't help either. And the guy just made the spacing on this team really bad. So getting off of Al Horford's massive contract and making the fit a lot better was very good. Not only is Danny Green a good three-point shooter and defender, he's also a good veteran leader, and I think he could help this team a lot. They were also able to get Terrence Ferguson, who's Anyways, this move immediately made the spacing better. But he would take another win, as he would trade for Seth Curry, not Stephen Curry. Yeah, sorry 76ers fans, from the Mavericks, who shot 45% from 3 on 5 attempts per game. They then select Tyrese Maxey and Isaiah Joe, who was a good shooter in college. Both were good shooters, and so far in free agency, they've signed Dwight Howard. So with those moves, you might be thinking, now how could they have a bounce back year? First off, the spacing has drastically improved, and Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons really do need floor spacing. Ben Simmons, as of now, is known as someone who's a liability when it comes to shooting the ball anywhere outside of the paint. Joel Embiid gets his points by driving to the rim and scoring in the post, and the guy is just known to get his points in the paint. And because of that, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid need the paint to work, and they can't have anyone making it really congested, and they need good spacing. And what the 76ers management has done has gotten them good spacing. Aside from Dwight Howard, who we all know is going to be the backup. So anyways, Now, we also want to talk about Doc Rivers being hired as the coach. Now, I know he's blown 3-3-1 leads in his coaching career. However, I think we can all agree he's an upgrade over Brett Brown. I don't think Doc Rivers is an amazing coach, but I do think he is a fine coach, and he sure is an upgrade over Brett Brown. Now, even though he has blown 3-3-1 leads, as I said before, he's a much better leader than Brett Brown, and he holds guys accountable, which was one big problem with the 76ers when Brett Brown was their head coach. And that was one big problem with Ben Simmons not being afraid to shoot the ball. With Doc Rivers, I do think that Ben Simmons might actually start to shoot the ball a little bit more and from places outside of the paint. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to be a knockdown 41% three-point shooter, but I could see the guy shooting like 3 to 5 threes a game, and he maybe is knocking down 34 to 36% of them, and that'd be very useful, as Simmons and Embiid, if they do run pick and rolls, the spacing will get a lot better, and that really just frees up the paint more for Joel Embiid, and that can allow him to, when he's healthy, to be, well, the player we all know he is, the really dominant post player that can just like bully guys in the post and just attack the rim very well. Now, as for what I think their starting lineup would be, I think it would be Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid as their starting lineup, and a bench of Shake Milton, Tyrese Maxey, Matisse Thybulle, Mike Scott, and Dwight Howard. They got a good offense and good defense. Simmons, Green, Embiid, and Matisse, along with Dwight Howard, make up a pretty good defense. If Doc Rivers can coach well, then I do think that this team can maybe be a top 4 or even a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference. Now, I don't know much about the draft, I'm going to say that, but from what I've heard, this Tyrese Maxey guy is pretty good, and he looks like he's going to be one of the steals of this NBA draft, and from what I've heard, he's also a really good shooter, which is something they really need. And this starting lineup is a lot better. Seth Curry is a very good three-point shooter. Danny Green, when he isn't trash, is a good three-point shooter and also a good defensive player. Tobias Harris is a good stretch 4, and hopefully he can bounce back and be a guy who scores at least 19 points per game and can also shoot the ball really well. And that's going to be great for Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. And if Ben Simmons can start shooting the ball a little bit more from places outside the paint, then that's really going to help Joel Embiid a lot. And the bench is also very good. Shake Milton is a pretty good scorer and shooter. Matisse Thybulle is a very good defensive player, along with being a fine three-point shooter. Tyrese Maxey is a pretty good offensive guard. Mike Scott can stretch the floor. And Dwight Howard is a good defensive player, along with being a good rebounder, and is just a good traditional big in general. But with all that being said, I do think Philadelphia can bounce back next year. They have much improved spacing, which really helps out the team, given that they have Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid on the team. The fit has gotten a lot better. Not only that, but they got off Al Horford's contract, so that's already a massive win. And I do think while this team on paper doesn't look like it's going to be crazy good, I do think that they can be pretty good. They could be a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. But with all that being said, that is going to be the end of today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please make sure to click the like button, as it really helps out the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and you're a fan of the NFL or the NBA. I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, and it would be greatly appreciated if we could reach that goal. I'll react to my first 2 videos when we reach 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys are interested in that, please make sure to click the subscribe button if you guys haven't already. There are videos like this already on the channel, and there will be more in the future. Also, I do want to let you guys know that for the Q&A, please drop your comments in the comment section below. As for the Q&A, I have not gotten a lot of questions, and I really want to provide you guys with that video. So if you guys have any questions, please make sure to ask them in the comment section below, as I can't exactly read your mind. So with all that being said though, you guys, well, I'm out.